In this video, we will learn 3 different ways to output from a VBA to Excel. We'll practice these methods from a sub. Therefore, I will create a sub and I will call it sub output testing. You may call it any other name you want. I have option explicit is on, so I have to declare a couple of variables that we can use for this demo. So I'm going to dim A as double, and I will dim B as double. These are just 2 random variables that I will use to show you how to output from a sub. The first method we will learn is message box. So let's say that the user give us A equal to 2 and B equal to 5. And we wanted to display to the user the value of A equal to 2 and the value of B equal to 5 at the same time. So the first way we'll say message box, and then I will make a space, and it gives me here really all the values or all the arguments of this function. But in the first time we'll do it without the parentheses, and we'll see how we'll do that. So the first thing, I wanted to output A equal, so this is going to be a message I want to display without any changes. So I'm going to say quotation A space equal space close quotation. Again, anything between quotation, Excel will output in the message box without any changes. Then I wanted to add the value of A, so I'm going to say and then the value of A is A, so I'm going to make it general in case the value of A changed. And then I wanted to output the value of B, so I'm going to say and open quotation, comma, B space equal space quotation space and the value of B. Let's see what we did here. What we did here is we put these messages, the A equal and the comma B equal, and Excel will display these as is without any changes or any variation. Then Excel or VBA will grab the value of A from the memory. Recall that we assigned the value of A to equal to 2. Then we'll grab the value of B from the memory. Again, recall that the value of B was equal to 5. Therefore, when we run the code, the user will see A equal 2 and comma B equal 5. Let's run this and see how it looks. So I'm going to hit run, and you will see here there is a title that says Microsoft Excel, and I have A equal to 2, comma B equal to 2, and you can see that there is no space between the 2, comma and B. And if you wanted to do this, but simply you have to include these spaces within the quotation, because remember, Excel will output everything between the quotation. In this case is equal, it's in this case is space, comma, space, B space, equal, and space, and then we'll grab the value of B. Now let's run this and see how it looks like. Now you notice that there is spaces between the 2, the comma, and the B as we just change it. One would say, well, I really don't like to have them on the same line. I would like to have them in 2 different lines. And in this case, you would use another function called CHR13, which is really equivalent to the enter action on your keyboard. In this case, we're going to say message box A space equal space close quotation and A and chr 13, that is equivalent to go into the second line, space, and now I don't need the comma anymore, b space equal space, and then I will say and b. Now let's run this code and see what is the difference between the first statement where I don't have the chr13 and the second statement where I have the chr13. Note that Excel will prompt the user with the message shown in this line here first, and when they press OK, Excel will show this message here. Let's see how that will work. So I will press run. Now I have both variables in the same line. If I say OK, note here that the variables or the messages have been divided into two different lines. Well, someone say, well, I don't want to show, I want to show different buttons. At this case, you have to declare a C as a string. So dim C as string, and then we will use that C to display our message. So we're going to say C equal message box. This time I'm going to open the parentheses. Now I am able actually to change the title. So I'm going to say the prompt in this case is going to be A equal to, and then I'm going to make comma, and I say in this case here it gives me what options of buttons that I can select. And if you scroll down here, for example, you have yes or no, cancel, okay only, okay and cancel. So let's try yes, no and cancel, and then I'm going to say tab. Now it's VB, yes, no, cancel, that are the button. I can change the title as I did before, so I'm going to say output demo, and then the rest of the arguments are optional, and I'm not going to display. Let's see how this will work. So I'm going to run the first message. As we know, both variable or both outputs at the same line as we programmed it. The second line, because we have changed this to two lines by chr13, and then the third one, now I have a equal to 2, and I now display three buttons, the yes, the no, and the cancel. And then notice also that I was able to change the output demo title of that GUI or that message. Now I press yes, and I'll go back to my sub. That's the first method to output, which is using message box. The second method, it's actually what we used. If you watched the input video, you would see that we used this method to input. The only difference is that when you put cells on the left hand side of the equal sign, it becomes as an output. So for example, let's say that I wanted to output the value of A to cell C3. So the way I will write this, it will be cells A3 or C3, either one. So we'll say C3, that is row number 3, column number 3, equal to the value of A. Let's see when we display this, when we run this, what's going to happen. For sake of time, I will comment this and this out so we don't go through these message boxes. I'm going to run the code now, and I will go to my Excel interface, and I see in C3 that Excel have displayed the value of 2. Go back again to the compiler, and then we'll show you the third way to output, which is again similar to another input method, which is range. The difference between using range as an input or as an output method is the same difference as if I use cells as an input or an output method. That is, if I put cells or range on the left hand side of the equal sign, that's what I mean. You see the equal sign is here. Cells on the left hand side, then it becomes an output method. Let's try that with range. So I'm going to say range, open parentheses, A3 dot value equal to B, and what is going to happen? Excel will output the value of B, which is 5, to cell A3. Let's try this now and see what happens. So if I run my code, Excel will output 5 to A3 and output 2 to cell A3. So in this video, you learn how to output from a message box, how to output from a cell, and how to output for a range. You use message box when you want to alert the user to only one specific message or one specific comment, or you want to bring their awareness to something important. You don't use message box to output multiple values because, as you can imagine, it becomes very annoying to the user. That's one reason. The second and most important reason, that it doesn't save the value to the interface, to Excel. Both cells and range, on the other hand, saves the values into the Excel interface, so the user will be able to see the outputs but also save the outputs if he or she wishes to do so.